All right, we need to talk. So MultiVersus ranked came out yesterday, and overall very positive, lots of good things. I just want to first off say straight out of the gate, the update was very good and I am a huge fan of it. But just giving positives and talking about how much I like something isn't really what I think that the game needs right now. I think that when something is in alpha testing, the most important thing that the gaming community wants to hear and that the devs want to hear is just people's negative feedback. Obviously, positive feedback is great, and makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside. But at the end of the day, the reason for hosting an alpha is so that you can improve it in the future. So in this video, I just want to go over the things that I think could be much better for ranked, and the things that I have specifically noticed that I think are a little bit lackluster about ranked, or maybe were done incorrectly. This is all just my opinion, but let me know as always if you guys agree, disagree, whatever the case may be. The reason that I'm saying that in the beginning though, by the way, is just because I want everybody to know this video is not me complaining about ranked. Overall, like I said, I'm a huge fan, and the direction that MultiVersus has been going recently is very good, and the game's starting to come back a little bit in terms of hype and the player base and everything. I've got some old friends that were playing that are getting back into it. So this is not a negative video, it's constructive criticism. I don't really like that term, but So first we're gonna talk about the biggest problems, and then we're gonna move into the smaller problems. The number one biggest problem with ranked, in my opinion, might sound trivial, but the lack of a placement game system. I know I'm doing this a lot. I'm having trouble wording things right now. There needs to be a placement games system in ranked. That is a standard for ranked across the board. Every game that has ranked that ever comes out in existence should have a placement games system. I'm not a fan of starting every player in the game at the lowest rank and making them all climb up, because it just leads to situations like this. It creates scenarios like this where somebody literally plays 100 games in a row, wins every single one of them, 100-0 in their sets, and they're in gold. And it's just I literally don't have a motivation to grind ranked right now. The number one thing that I've wanted in this game, since it came out, is ranked. I've been so desperate for ranked and so excited for ranked. All I wanted to do was play ranked, but I literally don't want to play it right now because I don't want to play this game for 10 hours straight, win 100 games in a row to still only be in gold. It's just why? Me personally, I don't have a lot of time to play MultiVersus every day, and I'm assuming that the vast majority of the player base is like that. I know that a lot of people may think that I literally just come home and play MultiVersus all day and that's my job, but it really isn't. So when I come home and I have, let's say, an hour a day to play, this person right here in this tweet played for 12 hours straight, and I don't have the motivation to play this game for the entirety of my free time every day for 2 weeks straight just to hit gold. I would much prefer if it had a placement game system where I could play 5 games or 10 games, win all of them, and then get placed immediately starting out in gold or something like that, and then grind up from there. I'm not saying that I'm a pro player, and I'm not saying I'm one of the best players in the game, but I am I am above average. I have several characters within the top 1000. I've had several characters within top 100 before, and when I sit down and actually grind a character, I like to think that I get pretty good with them. And again, that's not me saying that that's incredibly impressive, but it's definitely not bronze gameplay. When I filmed my video yesterday playing ranked for the first time, I was playing against potatoes, and it's just number one, it's not fun to play against people that are very far apart from you in skill, whether they're much worse or much better. And number two, it doesn't feel rewarding to win against people that are much worse than you. And then it just doesn't even feel rewarding to see my rank could go up 0.2%, and I'm oh yay, I'm about to get bronze 1, and it's just I just don't have the motivation to grind it. So I really want to see a placement game system for ranked beta or when ranked fully releases. I think that that's very important. If nothing else in this video that I say happens, I really want placement games to happen. Number two, similar issue at its roots to number one, and it's that the progression is very slow. To be clear, I'm fine with progression being slow at the higher ranks, but in the lower ranks, why is progression so slow? When you're winning games in the lowest rank in the game, it should be really easy to get out of the lowest rank in the game. There shouldn't be many players in the lowest rank. In theory, the very lowest dirt rank in the game should have 5% of the player base or something. So when it's taking 30 games to get out of it, and that's just a random number. I have no idea if that's the actual number. I know that I won all of my games that I played in yesterday's video, and I'm still in bronze. I feel I should I feel like I should be kind of blowing through these bottom ranks and like breezing through until I get to a point where I start losing games at least. And then once I start like losing a little bit, or, you know, my win rate isn't 100%, I feel like that's when my rank should start like catching up to me a little bit. In games like Valorant, if you make a brand new account and you place like silver or something, and then you win the next 20 games, you're going to get up to like plat. And then once you hit plat, you start like slowing down a little bit, and you start, you know, you have like a 60% win rate. You start gaining less for wins and losing more for losses. And I think that's how it should be in MultiVersus. So for example, let's make up some numbers. Just humor me for a second. Let's say in bronze, if you win, you get 5 rank points for winning. And then in silver, when you win, you get 4 rank points for winning. And then in gold, when you win, you get 3. You see the trend. So every rank that you move up, you start gaining less for wins. So that means that as you move up, matches are going to be harder to progress through, and like rank is going to be harder to progress through, and you will rank up slower as you get like nearer and nearer to the highest rank. I know that's not proper grammar. I don't care. So if you have like 100% win rate in the bottom ranks, you should be breezing through them. At least like if we're not going to have a placement system, it should at bare minimum be much easier to get out of the bottom ranks until you can catch up to where you belong. And then once you're there, it can get much slower. And then as you reach the higher and higher ranks, like in Masters, it should be really hard to rank up. Like you should be winning 1 to get a point, and then every time you lose 3 points or something. So you have to be winning the vast majority of your matches to rank up out of Masters or something. Like it should be hard to even just maintain Masters. Like I want the high ranks to be very hard to reach. I want the high ranks to be something that I have to grind this game for like a month straight to even touch for a day. And people are going to be like, well, that would make a lot of the players not able to reach the top rank. Good. That's what the top rank is there for. I remember there was a complaint in Apex Legends where people were like, it's too hard to reach the top rank. Not enough people are in the top rank. That's the point. The top rank of the game should be extremely hard to reach. Like the majority of the players of the game's player base should be somewhere in the middle of the ranked rating, right? So then like if you're above average, like you're slightly up there, but there's no reason that somebody should be able to just like get Masters easily. So I don't know. That was a more complicated way of saying make it easier to get through the bottom ranks and harder to get through the high ranks. The last of the biggest problems is that the system is still the same as the casual system. So for example, the map pool and like the hazards are the same as the casual system. So you still have maps like that stupid like tree fort or treehouse map. I don't remember what it's called specifically, but that map is in like every good player's nightmares. And then you have maps like Scooby's Mansion, the roof version to be specific. Those maps are not competitive. They should never be in any competitive setting. Now I like those maps. They're great to play as a casual mode and they're fun to mess around in, but they should not be in the competitive map pool because competitive integrity of the match, it should just come down to who's better. So when you have factors like the map not being made for a competitive setting, it just, I don't know, it just adds like an extra element there that isn't skill. And the more percentage that you can have the outcome be dependent on that is skill, the better, right? And then along with that, hazards, there shouldn't be hazards in ranked. I think that's just like a given. I wasn't expecting there to be hazards, so it's a little bit surprising. But yeah, let's clean up the map pool and take out the hazards so that ranked is just some straight up like basic maps. You fight and you win or lose, and that's it. Let's leave like the crazier stuff, the crazier maps, the hazards, stuff like that. Let's leave that in the casual mode, because all of those things that can like cost you the game, it doesn't matter if it's in casual. Like if you lose the game because of like, oh, I bounced around on this map for so long, like who cares? It's casual. But in ranked, that shouldn't be happening. Now though, moving on to the smaller issues, these are things that aren't really like that big of a deal, but it's just like some additional feedback that I think could be implemented that would make the mode better overall. But like, again, this isn't something that's like ruining the mode. First off, there's this rematch like bug or issue. I don't really know what specifically is causing it, but you can decline rematches. I've heard people say that if you just let the bar run out, it declines the rematch. Obviously you can just alt F4 your game, which declines the rematch, but I don't know which of these is true, so don't quote me on this, but there's a lot of people saying that if you alt F4 out of a game, the other person doesn't get their ranked rating. I don't remember what it's called, like what the rank rating is called, but apparently if you lose and they win the first set, you can alt F4 and then they won't get their points and you won't lose your points. I'm not sure if that's positive because I think I saw somebody say that that's not true, but then I've seen like 10 people say that it's true. So regardless, you should not be able to get out of rematching. Ranked should be locked into a set of 3, and clearly that's what the devs intended because they tried to make it locked in 3, but there's like an exploit or a bug or something that lets people not play the match of 3. MultiVersus matches are not long. Even if you go into like a 1-to-1 and then you go into the 3rd round, the whole match overall is like 10 minutes. So like I understand that, you know, crap happens. Sometimes you have to go in the middle of a game, you know, your mom calls you and says, come help with the groceries, whatever the case may be. That's understandable, but you should never be able to just lose and be like, no, I don't want to play, decline, or like let the bar run out or whatever. So yeah, let's clean that up a little bit. I wish there was a win streak bonus. This kind of ties into what I was saying earlier with like the easier easier to rank up out of the low ranks, there should be a win streak bonus. So for example, that person that won 100 matches in a row, that 100th win in a row should not have been worth the same amount as the first win. Like if you're going on a huge win streak, that indicates, to me at least, that's indicative that you don't belong in that rank. So if you're like winning and then losing and then win and then loss and then win, loss, like you belong in that rank, right? Like that seems like that's where you belong. But when you're like win, loss, win, like you should be ranking up quicker. So I think that a win streak bonus that kind of adds on a percentage of the ranked rating if you're on a win streak would help. And maybe you only apply this to like certain factors of 5 or something. So a 5 win streak gives you, you know, a 20% bonus, and then a 10 win streak, it gives you a 50% bonus, and then a 15 win streak, you know what I mean? So I think that something like that, where you get a win streak bonus, would just help to make it like more motivating to actually try every game. I don't think that's too big of a problem, but again, it's just something that would be nice. And then finally, the last thing is the matchmaking in general just isn't really good. I still think that the MultiVersus, like as a whole, MultiVersus has a very big problem with like matchmaking and just pairing people that shouldn't be paired into matches. And I think that they do this because they prioritize queue times over match quality, and I just disagree with that at a fundamental level. I really hate when games prioritize queue times, you know, and Valorant has the same problem sometimes. But like if I queue for a match, I would rather that match take me 4 minutes to get into a match and then play a really like close, really even match where I have to like try my hardest, they're trying their hardest. It's a great back and forth, you know, it's a close, you know, a nail biter of a match. I'd rather have that with a longer queue time than a game where I press ready up and then I open up TikTok, boom, I'm in a match. And then it's like, okay, what am I playing against? I'm on my level 487 Arya and I'm playing against a level 2 LeBron. And it's just like, why did that happen? And then you'll go look at them after the match. And then like, for example, let's have somebody that's rank 1 in the entire world, and then he'll get queued into somebody that's like rank 8 million in teams. And it's just like, those two players are not compatible. They should never have been matched together. So I want that I want the matchmaking to be based on your rank. Obviously, that's what ranked is, but I also would like to prioritize the match quality over queue times. So make the queues a little bit longer, but just better match players. But yeah, overall, that's everything that I wanted to talk about in this video. Again, I want to finish this off by saying I am a big fan of ranked. I'm glad to see that MultiVersus is taking steps towards adding like more for the competitive side of games, because I think a lot of games nowadays focus too much on the casual side of things and not enough on the competitive, because obviously the casual side pays their bills. But I love to see the competitive community growing and the competitive like scene paid attention to by devs. So overall, devs have been doing an amazing job with this update. This is just some stuff that I think could help ranked overall, you know, take it or leave it. It's just my feedback and my opinions. Let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree, and subscribe for more, because I post MultiVersus videos 5 times a week, or at least I try to. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next upload. Peace out, everybody.